Now is the time we put our children first, before all else, to ensure they will receive the care they not only need, but the care they deserve. Let there be no more excuses. Not tonight, not tomorrow. Now is the time to build this hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, with great pleasure, please welcome Ann Maliff, the mother of Nate.
This is hard for me, and it's not just because it's a big room. It's not just because it's a subject that's dear to me, but because so many parents have come up to me and said, thank you for telling our story. It needs to be said. So I'm going to give it a try. This is my son, Nate, and this is the part I get choked up. When he was 8 months old, we found out that he had a developmental brain abnormality. I had no idea what that meant, but I can tell you exactly what that means today. What it means is that I very well may be the most qualified person in this room to dispel the myth that Greater Richmond already has a children's hospital. If you're a pediatric specialist in Richmond, you very well may recognize him. He has medical records all across Virginia. He's had surgery at Bon Secours at St. Mary's. He's had surgery at Virginia Eye Institute. He's had surgery at MCV. He's had MRIs at HCA and Bon Secours. We see specialists at UVA, at Bon Secours, at Children's Hospital, at MCV. I think you get the picture. I know my way around pediatric floors and intensive care units and can tell you what I like best and worst about each of the hospitals. But because our records are all over the place, his healthcare management often is dependent upon my ability to communicate his current medical history to other specialists. Over the last few months, I have been very outspoken about my support for PAC-Kids. And when I tell them that we need a hospital for children in Richmond, they look at me and say, wait a minute, wasn't your son the poster child for Children's Hospital Foundation? And the answer is yes, he was, and I love Children's Hospital. I've been there almost weekly since he was an infant. I don't know what we do without Children's Hospital. We go to the West End facility to get physical therapy. We go to the South Side facility to get occupational therapy. We go to the CP clinic and see the rehab doctor at Brook Road. But it's not where you go in an emergency situation. You do not show up to Brook Road when your child has appendicitis or a broken leg. Unfortunately, I also know my way around emergency rooms. I know what it's like to be transported from one hospital to another hospital because the pediatric specialist that you needed to see wasn't at that hospital. I know what it's like to be transported from one hospital to another and then to have to catch a cab at 1 o'clock in the morning with your sick child to get your car from the other hospital. I know what it's like to be discharged from a hospital and spend an hour in the parking deck trying to get home when maybe you haven't slept for 2 days. On a good day, it is very difficult for my son physically to get from a car in a parking deck to an emergency room. He has cerebral palsy. But we're not at the hospital on a good day. When we're at the emergency room, it's probably because he spiked a fever, or maybe he's been vomiting, or maybe he's had unusual seizure activity. My son has a tube that leads from his brain to his abdominal cavity to relieve intracranial pressure. Whenever he has one of those symptoms, It could be a life-threatening situation, and I need to think, I got to get to the emergency room. And I know cancer patients are in the same boat as I am. So we go to the emergency room on bad days. And when you leave here tonight, I challenge you to think about me. As you walk to your car on this dark night, imagine me with a weak and sick child, my arms full of baggage and medical records because I know we'll be admitted. And see how secure you feel. And think about all those other children, the cancer patients, that their moms are doing the exact same thing I am. And I challenge you to think about me on your way out to your car. And then come back to me and you tell me if brick and mortar and location doesn't matter. I want to emphasize that I depend heavily upon the medical community, the pediatric medical community here, and I very much love the care that I've gotten, and I consider myself very lucky with the specialists, the pediatricians that we have. But isn't it okay to understand that even though something is dear to you, that it could be improved upon? When I saw the list of doctors in the newspaper who had signed up with PAC-Kids, it was eye-opening to me. I saw 17 of my son's doctors on that list. There are 17 physicians who share the same opinion about my son's medical care. They think it could be better if we had a freestanding, independent hospital for children in Richmond. Richmond, it's time to build. I don't need an 18th opinion. Thank you.